Hey YouTube, and welcome back to my channel. I'm doing something kind of different today. I thought I would just hop right into the recipe rather than doing an intro. If you guys could let me know in the comments below if you like it better this way or if you like it better with the intro. I'm kind of deciding how I want to structure these videos a little bit more, and it might save us some time if I jump right into the recipe. Today we're going to go ahead and making my cheesy hash brown casserole. Now, I must admit, this is not mine. This was kind of introduced to our family, oh my gosh, well over 20 years ago, and it's been a staple ever since. I believe somebody's in-law came to dinner one night and this was the dish she brought to pass, and like I said, my family has adopted this recipe ever since. I have made a few small changes along the way, so this is kind of my interpretation. I've heard it called company potatoes, funeral potatoes, but we just call it cheesy hash brown casserole. I'm gonna go ahead and start with just a package of, it's 1 pound of the frozen hash browns. Now, in all fairness, I have let these thaw for the most part and come down to room temperature simply because it makes it easier to work with rather than when they're frozen. I find it's best to get all the flavors incorporated. I have to mix it by hand. I usually use some rubber gloves simply because it's less messy, and I'm filming, so it's hard to turn that camera off when I've got yucky fingers. To my 1 pound bag of frozen hash browns, I have 1 brick of cream cheese that I've let softened up to room temperature. Like I said, it's just easier to work with once it's more pliable. I have 1 small onion finely diced, 1 can of the cream of cheddar or cheddar cheese soup, lots of cheese in this recipe. I like it because, well, it tastes good. Everyone seems to request this dish. In fact, at most holidays, this is the dish everyone asks me to make. I have half of a, what is this, a 24 ounce, so 12 ounces of sour cream. Okay, I also have a half of a tablespoon of paprika, half a tablespoon of garlic, and 1 teaspoon of salt. I feel like the paprika just kind of brings out the color, makes it a little bit more diverse. Who likes to eat food that's all one color? I like color. And I also have 3 cups of shredded cheddar cheese. If you want to get creative here and put in some maybe Colby or Colby Jack, Monterey Jack, all would be fine, I think, here. Or mozzarella, half and half. It's your dish, get creative. Okay, at this point, I'm literally just gonna start mixing this all together. And this is why I prefer the hands-on method, because I'm telling you, it's just really difficult to do with a spoon, even a wooden spoon or a metal spoon at this point. But also, this is why I choose to let my hash browns thaw a little bit, because if you don't, I've done this many times, you have literally frozen fingers and you have to stop quite often. Oh, I'm already making a mess. You're not cooking until you make a mess. I feel like I know of one sister who has called me a few times getting this recipe, because unfortunately we don't live close anymore, so a lot of holidays are spent far apart, and when I'm close, this is what I usually make. And so everyone wants it at their holiday dinner. And she's called me a few times asking for this recipe. So I thought, hey, why don't I put it on YouTube, and then she can kind of watch it whenever she needs the recipe. If you don't care for the texture of onions, I would go ahead and put in maybe a tablespoon of onion powder. But I've chopped my onions so fine that I doubt you're gonna really get that texture. I know a lot of people, for onions, they just don't care about or care for the texture. Okay. I feel like we're really incorporated. I want all that cream cheese, all that sour cream, every bite to be cheesy goodness. All right. Got lots outside the bowl here. Like I said, you're not cooking unless you made a mess. All right, I'm gonna shut the camera off and get the next few ingredients going. There is a topping that goes on top, and I'm telling you, it's worth it. Now, we have made it without the topping. It's pretty good, but this kind of just ups it a notch for a holiday dinner. I'm gonna clean up my mess and I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back. I cleaned up my workspace a little bit. It was kind of messy. I have a, what is this, a 9x13 baking dish. And I'm just going to dump my hash browns right on in. I like this because you can actually make it up, everything except for the topping the night before. Let's say you've got a holiday or a potluck or some kind of event you're trying to plan for. And I'm all about enjoying your party or your holiday as well. So if I can make this up the night before or even the day before and then pop it in the oven right before you want to serve your guests, less work for you to do on your day of your party or your holiday and more time to enjoy your guests. Okay, just kind of spread it out evenly in the pan. I like a 9x13, like a bigger one, simply because it'll cook a little faster. Okay. Now, for the topping, I like to put probably 1 more cup of shredded cheddar, or the cheese of your choice, on top. I just think cheddar works the best, but I do think other cheeses would work here. Get creative. All right, it's about a cup. Now, you can put this in the oven and get going right now, no big deal. It does turn out great. In fact, we have it like this lots of times. But to make it extra special, I have 2 cups of corn flakes. And to that, which you kind of squish them up a little bit, but not too much. But I have a 1/4 cup of melted butter. You just kind of pour that in there. Stir it all around. Try to get all of your cornflakes coated as best you can. And then you're going to just sprinkle it right on top of your hash browns. I don't know, I like this for texture. I think it kind of breaks up the monotony there. The crispiness of your corn flakes. Who doesn't like cheese and corn anyways? I think that's kind of like well, cheese, corn, and potatoes. I think that's the ultimate comfort food. Just kind of evenly spread them out so they cook evenly and they're not all clumped together. All right, I am gonna preheat my oven to 350 degrees. I'm gonna cover this with foil and I'm gonna bake it for an hour to an hour and 15 minutes. Kind of about at that hour mark, I would just kind of lift up your tin foil, maybe take a little spoonful of the side here where your hash browns are, just to make sure your hash browns are cooked and not still that raw potato consistency. If they are, recover it and bake it for another 15 more minutes and it should be done. At an hour and 15, I'm gonna pull it out and I'll bring you back then. Okay guys, my casserole has baked for an hour and 10 minutes. If you wanna make sure it's done, I would just kind of poke at the side here, or any one of the sides, it really doesn't matter, just to make sure your potatoes are cooked all the way through. At this point, I'm going to uncover it, put it back in the oven for about 5 to 10 minutes. You want to kind of crisp up our or corn flakes on top, so they get a little bit of a kind of a different texture. I'm going to check it at 5 and kind of determine whether it needs 10 minutes or 5. So that is my suggestion to you. I will bring you back when the corn flakes have crisped up some. Alright guys, my casserole has baked up for 10 more minutes. I'm gonna let it kind of sit, for about 5 minutes. It's crazy hot before you serve it. But this is one of my family's favorite holiday meals, or side dishes to a meal. And I hope you guys give it a try. If you haven't tried anything like this before, this is kind of the ultimate comfort food. We're pairing it tonight with a ham. I had it in the freezer from a couple months ago. It was on sale and I decided to pick up 2 at the time, and it's just, I live in the South, it's been way too hot to cook a ham. The temperature's finally cooling off enough where the air conditioning can keep up, and I had a really nice viewer ask if I could show her how I make my ham bone broth, so I figured 2 birds, 1 stone. I'm going to show you this recipe, and then we'll eat our ham, and then later this week I will show you how I make my ham bone broth. So if you like today's recipe, please give me a thumbs up, and if you like what I do here, please consider hitting that subscribe button so you don't miss out on any future videos. I'll see you in the next one, guys.